Alrighty, 3:30 Eastern, or well, just about a minute before. Get started here with Trade Ideas Live Q&A. Alrighty, so live open forum for this Q&A here on Trade Ideas. Come one, come all with your questions. Of course, I will do my best to keep it entertaining and interesting, most importantly, informative and educational. I don't come with pre-done content, so, just let me give a moment for everybody to pile in here and fire their questions. So Mike's got one, Chris, and he was curious if you guys use the block trade alert. Nope, never used it once, other than if I'm troubleshooting someone for block trades, Mike. I know we have it. We come to configure here and search block trades, but not something I've ever used. If we look at the help menu here, that's the most of the information that I have here on it. So, we look at this here. This gives us the definition of what it is. If you got a question, I'll answer to the best of my abilities, of course, but just not something I'm looking for when I'm trading. I actually, I trade. I don't mind things that don't have much volume. I don't need a lot of volume, or what I consider to be a lot of volume. It's a subjective question, if you will. But if you got a specific question about it or something you're looking to build into it, let me know and see what we can come up with for you here. Or just internal messaging here, some back channel troubleshooting that we're doing, some other alerts for some people that were going on. Just trying to make sure I stay caught up on all those relative things like that. Another all-time high from the SPY again today, it looks like. Yep, another all-time high from the SPY. We'll dive around the markets in a few moments here. We got about 28 minutes and change before we shut down the markets for the day here. So let's see, Mike, is there anything that might be appropriate for quick reversal plays, like unusual number of prints alerts, something that suggests turn momentum? If I was looking at reversal plays, Mike, I would be more looking at using position and range filters, in combination with like maybe a new 5 or 15-minute high, or not new, just a 5 or 15-minute high. Something where maybe you're finding stocks were down X amount during the day or down a certain amount on the day already, and making that reverse. So these are things that I might point you towards. I don't use any of those prints. Right? I don't use level 2. I don't use any of that stuff like that. So I don't have a lot to add in that sense, or how it would factor into something like a reversal. But what I would use is something maybe like one of these position and range filters. There we go, position and range. All right, so maybe one of these different filters here, depending on what kind of time frame you're looking at. Bring my drawing tool over. Always nice to really have that. Whether you're trying to just look for something more short term or in the day, or a reversal from yesterday, something like that. This pre-market one only works in the pre-market, so we can discount that one for this. So maybe you're putting some kind of value in there that shows it was, at a certain point in the day, or it's in between a certain range of that day, and using it like that. That's where I would go with. So let's see, if I was like building a reversal scan, let's come to new. alert window. So it's going to populate another window. Let's bring this over here. And I'm going to get rid of all the stuff that's already in here. Let's start clean and fresh from the window specific filters. And let's come to search and let's start here. So we're looking for a reversal. So let's say if we're looking for a reversal up, let's find stuff that, let's go with a gap actually. All right. And we're going to go with gap and percent. We're going to add that filter and we're going to use the show me function. And let's put a 2 in here for percent. So show me stocks where the open is at least, whoops, we want a -2. So, show me stocks where it was below the close. There we go. This is what I want. So we want to see stuff that was at least gap down 2%. All right. So we want a -2 in the max. All right. So let's start there. And I see these other questions coming in. So I'm going to filter around to those in a second while we kind of make a window here for this reversal. So we're looking at stocks that have gapped down at least 2% on the day now. All right. And let's see, now we do something like change from close. So we know that they're moving up now. So if we go from change A, change from close. There we go. Let's go with the change from close filter. All right. And now we know they gap down 2%. That's what we're looking at. But now we want to see them, stocks that were up from the previous close. Okay. Or maybe, let's go with this. They're up from the previous close, flat from the previous close, or no more than 1% down. So we know that we're trending up off that gap to start with. Okay. And let's look for some volume stuff in here. We don't want to just look at anything. So let's make sure we're seeing something. We'll go with 100,000 shares traded for now, at least that on the day. What else can we add on here? Make sure, some volumes, some interest in it now. So we'll go with a 5-minute volume here. And we want to make sure, let's see that they're doing, 2 times what they're normally doing over 5 minutes. That's why we put a 200 in here because it's done in percents. And we need an alert to go with this here. So let's go with that. And let's start from the beginning. And, one that I've been using a lot lately is let's go with a 5-minute high. So 5-minute high, we're going to add that alert. I'm going to switch that out. We don't want to see a new high on the day because we're reversing. So we don't want to be at a new high. All right. So that's what we got for the scan here. This is what we built. We're looking at a 5-minute high as the catalyst to get that. These filters all have to be matched. So we're looking at least 100,000 shares traded today. We're doing 200% of normal, which is really 2 times what its normal 5-minute volume is. We want to see that the open was at least 2% below the previous close. However, we're trending up now with this change from close filter. All right. And there we go. We're going to press OK. And we're going to bring this over. And let's run the history on it real quick. I suspect there'll be a lot in here, but just to get an idea of what this is going to be showing us. All right. So not as much as I would have thought there was. So let's take a look here. So here, early reversal. Early reversal. All right. But it only caught the reversal on a fake breakout right there. All right. So now this is where we get into the nitty gritty of trying to, look for stocks doing what we want to do. Of course, we're turning ideas and what the idea is going to go from there. So here's a reversal. All right. That's a big time reversal right there. We've seen some expensive ones. Let's look at a not so expensive one. So reversal all the same. Caught it at 71 cents. Made it up to almost 74 cents. All right, so got a kind of a fake breakout on this reversal here. So I'm going to save and share this to the cloud. We're going to rename it. Let's first go to configure and let's rename it. And we're going to call it uh, reversal 5-minute high. All right. And, it gives you a template to work off of. We're going to save and share that to the cloud. And you, Mike, anybody else that's interested in the scan, it's yours now. Have at it, refine it, and all those things like that. So now let's see, Clay, I'm still learning, use simulator today, and the percentage gains highlight show strategy versus my position are different. Andy just told me the slippage was off some. I see. So yeah, I was looking at your chat with Andy, Clay, and what I was noticing is your fill prices were not the same as the alert prices right here. All right. So for example, Zen, you had, I think, 102.05 on your fill. So, you're off on that there. I think you got a fill at 0.82 on OUST there. I didn't go through the rest of them. Those were just two that I saw right off the bat. So that's why, you're going to show different here than here, number one. And let's see the second part of your question there. There, perfect circle. How are you? Maybe you should ask this way. Is there a difference between plus minus position change and profit? Shouldn't those be the same? No, because, you got a different fill. So the percentages are all going to change now. Being up 5 cents from a 680 fill off a 682 fill is not the same. That's a different percentage move. The same with this here. That's where it's going to change. So that's why you're seeing the difference there. You're different. Your fill is different than what her entry price was. So just by changing those numbers like that, that's where you're going to see the difference in your percentages right off the bat. So I hope that makes sense for you there, Clay. If not, let me know and we'll keep hammering away at that one for you. All right. Glad you like that, Mike. And, what I always try to stress to users, think outside of the box with these filters too. The filter doesn't have to be, just because I can't think of something with your unusual prints filter idea doesn't mean there is not something there. It's just not a way that I've never used the filter number one. I understand its concept. But that doesn't mean there isn't a viable idea behind that, Mike, and that you can't just throw that filter in there and start plugging some values into it, run the history on it, run a few different days of history, run some blocks of history for some other days and see what that's going to return you like that. And that would be my suggestion there. And, when I say think outside the box, my one thing that I always hit on is, the scan that Andy created for bull flags. We don't have pattern recognition like a bull flag, but Andy did it on a daily set here. Load the scan. I'm going to bring it over. Hopefully, maybe there's some good setups in here to show you. But if we right click, we come to configure and come to the window specific filters. Andy used some range and position and range filters to do this with. So, he gave it a price look, but today it's got to be up from the close. All right. He used an EPS hack to keep out ETFs. He used a 5 range filter here. He used a position previous days range filter here. He used a score. Andy was one of the people that created the stock composite rating. So he put that in here to get some more quality names. And he used the change in 10-day filter. Now, these aren't the only filters he could have used, but this is what he went with. It returned some decent setups and found some, bull flags. Is everything perfect on here? No, but it's returning ideas. From there, you got to decide, does it fit your criteria for a bull flag? How's that, looking? But that's, there's a bull flag right there. There's your flag and there's your move up today on it. All right. Let's see, TCS. There's your bull flag. All right. Some of these are going to look nicer than others, but there's your flag. So already some examples here that work. This one, not as great. You kind of want to see it more down move like that, but it still fits the criteria. You can see where the flag is, where it's looking at that it would think it was a flag on that scan. There's your bull flag here. All right. So that's what I mean by thinking outside the box. A filter doesn't have to be used just as the filter that it is. Um, so, guess I'm not understanding the difference between what it is telling me not comparing to Holly these different percentages within my positions tab. Which, take take if you take 682, what's 5% of 682 and what's 5% of 680, that's what's the difference is this fill price. You didn't get filled here. She's showing her percentage as a fill at this price. You're showing a fill at 682 for your percentage on that, for that one. So that's going to throw it off from hers right there. On this, she's showing a percentage of 101.91 as the fill. You got a fill of 102.05. So your percentages are off based on your fill. And someone shared a snapshot of Bloomberg terminal that was showing, predicting the next sector rotation on being industrial material utilities measured by inflows and outflows. I mean, could be. I've been watching some material stuff. I unfortunately got stopped out of this the other day. It's still something I'm watching. Of course, it's almost right back to what my entry was, but it is what it is. But I got stopped out on this down candle here the other day, and then made a move up, and then earnings happened, and all this nonsense. But that is what it is. But materials is something I've been watching. You got whatever bills are going to get passed. Like I said, I really try not to pay attention to any of that stuff. But obviously, people are going to get contracts and they're going to build roads and bridges. Hopefully, that's what the bill is supposed to be about. We'll see what happens. So could be. I don't doubt that's where that's headed. Does sector analysis give any predictions? No, I mean, there's no prediction. There's no such thing as predicting in the stock market. There's opinions and guessing. There's no predicting. This is just a list of what these are. These sectors that I'm watching as far as ETFs go. There's no way to predict anything. This is how could you predict any of this movement? It's impossible. Some people probably saw this move in nat gas the other day when look. We're up here. We look like we're ready to break, and people probably thought, "Yeah, we're getting ready to take that out," and then down, down, down. Who's going to predict that that's the move today from this? No way to predict it. We read the charts, we read the tea leaves the best that we can, and make our risk management moves from there with our capital. Hey, dude, we're all good. Thanks for taking the time to do these. Yeah, I'm glad you find them helpful. It's what I'm here for. You guys are all subscribing to Trade Ideas or interested to subscribing to Trade Ideas because you want to learn to trade. Without success of the program, without success of trading, you guys don't subscribe, and makes it all fruitless for everybody. So I think there's room for everybody to top. So that's why I'm here, no longer comparing Holly, asking why my own positions window. Within the strategy window, Holly aside from now, the positions on the day P&L day should be the same, correct? You bring up a positions window in Brokerage plus tab. I mean, I don't have, I can connect to this here, and this is just going to this is going to only reflect what happened, on your specific trading, Clay. Your strategies window, this here, this will not match this unless you got the exact same fills. I know you said you're not comparing Holly now, but I'm not, within the strategy window. This is your strategy window, all right, for Holly. You have this here, that's something different than all this here. This is, this is going to show you based on your fills and last print. This is going to show based on the alert price, the entry price, and last price or last print, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, anybody that's paying, I mean, Bloomberg terminals, I don't even know what they cost, like tens of thousands of dollars or something like that. I mean, is it going to give him an edge? Maybe. I don't know. I've never seen one. I've never used one. But there's no such thing as predicting, I think there's some statistic like 75% of all active managers underperform the indexes. So obviously they're not very good at predicting anything, these active managers, and they just should probably be buying indexes. But for whatever reason, people want to pay these people. So, and those are your people with suits and ties that are on CNBC and Bloomberg every single day. If anybody is on Twitter and they follow someone like Stock Cats, who's a funny parody account, but actually really knows his stuff, he makes comments all the time. Guy who didn't see the correction coming tells you what you should do with your portfolio next. Anybody that's been listening to me, I'm neither a bear nor a bull. I'm just going to watch the charts, and I'm going to make my decisions based off those charts and live or die by my decision. But I'm not predicting anything. I'm for lack of a better term, I'm making a bet based on my scanning and my chart reading abilities, and that's it. If you want to call it a prediction, so be it. So again, still an open forum here, and I'm still trying to ponder what you're writing there, Clay. I'm not, discounting or ignoring what you're saying there. I'm just trying to, in here, what you're going to see is based on what your entry price was. In here, what you're going to see is based on what the entry price was versus that price there. But again, it's open forum, so please, people with questions, fire them away. It's easier for me, or it's better for me, or better for all of us when you guys are firing away questions. You want something specifically demonstrated or something you want to specifically talk about. We're now technically inside 10 minutes here before the market closes on this November 2nd, Tuesday afternoon, the year of 2021. Jump into some of my activity real quick to entertain you, I suppose. I was in and out of hut today. I just haven't been able to have the guts to swing trade anything recently for whatever reason. Well, I got beat up on some swing trading, and so I kind of just stopped doing it for a minute and exiting things a little bit early. But it's a Bitcoin mining company apparently, and I don't trade crypto, but here's a way to trade crypto through stocks. And I don't know, I got in somewhere around, I think it was 1470, and I got out somewhere around 15, and I got out some more in this area. No, I'm lying. In this area here around 430 or 1530 or something like that. And of course, felt good about that when this move happened. Then I don't feel so great about it off here. So it is what it is. It's hard to say it's at all-time highs. Here's your lifetime high on that. It's above that 1415 by a lot. But, we start to get really extended off this. How much further does it have to run? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not predicting. I made some money. I took that money and I walked away with it. So I'm using Holly on simulated, and their conserve risk mode is there. A way to change the risk type after the trade's already been initiated? No. The only way you can do that is if you were to come into the orders tab and cancel the orders that'll already be sitting there. So if I bring over this here, when you get a fill on Holly, if you go to the orders tab, you're going to see orders over here waiting to close that trade out. And you can modify those orders if you want, or whether it's through this or if you're live TWS, that's how you do that there. You'd have to modify the orders, but there's no way, there's no alternate, there's no third option, no way to redo those or edit those other than to manually do that yourself. And you need to remember market mechanics. These are all done as bracket orders. So if you enter Holly trade and you enter it at 15 and you say, oh, you know what, it's at 1550, I want to close it myself, and you decide to manually close it, your bracket orders from this opening here of that trade are still sitting there, whatever they are. Whether it's a stop, obviously, is going to be one of them, and whatever other closing orders exist for that risk management of that conservative or moderate trade. And if you do not cancel those orders and the price hits those orders, one of those orders with you having zero position, you're going to end up short that stock. That's how that will work on a long. Vice versa, if it's on a short stock and you covered and you left the buyback orders there, you'll end up long that stock. It's sheer market mechanics. You selling your position does not cancel these orders. They will sit there with no position, and you will buy or sell it according to the remaining closing orders off that bracket. So just market mechanics on that. Um, so that covers that. Close that. Yeah, and the other FinTwit joke. If, for those that don't know, FinTwit is just financial Twitter. It's like a subsect of Twitter that just talks about finance mostly. One of the jokes is also that goes on with that is every single time China talks about banning Bitcoin and cryptos in general and Bitcoin crash for like a day or two, and then they go on to make like new highs, new weekly highs or whatever it is. So make of that whatever you will. It's kind of like an inside joke with the peoples of Twitter that follow finance stuff that's there. Riot, yeah, Riot seems to have been a bit of a disconnect from that. All right, yeah, I guess Clay, email those in. Maybe sometimes it's hard to when I'm not looking at your screen and what you're trying to show me. I'm going off, that chat that you were in with Andy and me looking at those screenshots while I was setting up this live stream too. Um, So yeah, I thought that was the case. Move stop loss, enable, changing stop, highlight trades, or I do. Yeah, you need to cancel. You'll have to cancel all that stuff. So all right, again, open forum here. So if people have questions, fire them away for me, please. And we're now inside 5 minutes for market close. So let's take a look. I haven't looked at Barry's option scanner today. So let's see. Let's take a look at what his option scanner did today. 38 off that alert. Really got you in any trouble off that candle. Came back down here 11-ish or so. Topped out 1170. All right, alert. Nothing. Never put you in any pain. Probably buy dinner off an alert like that. All right, Clay. Yeah, I'll check that out. Me and whoever else is poking around in the emails there, a team of us. We'll take a look at that and make sure we get you an answer, Clay. Let's see, 443. Big spike real fast. So, fast trader, definitely some alpha to be had on that one. Not bad. You know, be nimble on these kinds of alerts. And that's the kind of scanner this is. So 710 moved up to, this is a great alert. This is a really great alert here. Still a great alert. Never put you in almost any pain at any point. And if you couldn't, if you can't manage something like that, off a 710 alert, you can't manage, let's say you got it at 720 and you couldn't pull some profit up here on that, you're going to have to rethink your trading plan or rethink your trading style. Auto 412 on that alert. Come on, computer. Nothing top tick there. Not a great alert. PRTS, this is one that I tried to get bullish on so many times, and I kind of put it on my do not look list for a while, to be honest. Great alert off that, 1572. Great alert off that. Look at that. And this is, got a decent spread on it, not moving crazy on the time and sales as I'm watching it. I mean, you time all in there to get in, figure it out. Even here, still running. And it was not too far extended off the 8 EMA on that alert. You never really caught it on the 15-minute EMA there, 15-minute 8 EMA. Very nice from that. So some gems from Mr. Barry's option scanner again today. Top tick there, nothing good there. This is one that I'm kicking myself. I usually follow this stock. It's one of those stocks I like to trade. Has a personality, I feel like. Traded it back here actually and had an okay day on it. It's actually coming through the Trade Idea Strength Alert scanner back there. But let's see, 1978. almost ran up to 21. So, your alert's somewhere in here. Definitely a playable alert. That's for sure. Definitely actionable. So, all right, some good stuff from Barry's scanner there. Let's see, is there a way to filter a scan so that it shows the strongest growth stocks? Well, what do you define as a growth stock? We can look at earnings. If I can type right, we could look at these estimates and earnings, quarterly growth. So maybe, you do some kind of scan of that, some kind of earnings and debt ratio, current debt to cash ratio, something like that. That's, the direction I would send you in there for scanning like that. You're looking more into, I think, fundamentals and technicals at that point. But, few things exist within our system to look at those things. That's the direction I'd be sending you in. And all right, so we're about to shut down the market here in 15 seconds before we get the closing bell. So let's jump around the horn a little bit. Let's start with the IWMs. I discussed yesterday that it was, all but a foregone conclusion that IWMs would take out their all-time high, which they did today. They pulled back some, but all the same, there it is. It's up. It's going to close up. Nothing's going to change that in the next 3 seconds as the market closes right now. Sorry, market closed 10 seconds ago now. So there it is. We discussed with the IWMs at nauseum at this point, this range. We've now taken it out. That was your previous all-time high. Today's your new all-time high. There it is right there, made. What does that mean? It means I made a new all-time high today. We now make a new line in the sand here. We can take one of these old ones, move them up. If I can ever get my drawing tool to work with me right, let's take this. Let's stick that right up here. Again, pivot lines, whether it's support or resistance or an approximation, we're going to put it right snuggled up there. The question now becomes, do we start to move through this and then test it this way? Or is this a whoopsie that we poke through it and we come back down and this continues to be a range and resistance? Nobody can predict these things, but this is what we set up. This is what we look at now, all right? And these are your small cap stocks. So this is how we start to decide, are we going to play our small cap stocks? I think there's more a bull case to be made in the IWM than a bear case. And that bull case comes from this. This is the last time we tested that line. There's a higher low. 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 And I believe this will become one more higher low. Do I think we get up above this line and just stay above this line? No, I think we test this line a little bit more, but I think that this range is being broken to the upside now. If I'm wrong, so be it. But that's what I see on that chart. Let's dive into the RSP. For those that don't know, the RSP is the equally weighted S&P 500. So we're not looking at the heavy tech SPY, same stocks, just given the same grade across each stock or same weighting across each stock. We're kind of floating around here at the all-time highs. We'll zoom in a little bit more. We'd taken out the all-time highs back here. The world was ending. We're going to crash, short everything. Oops, we were wrong. Back up, made a new all-time high, made a new all-time high. So that's where we're at again. Once again, new lifetime high. We took it out. We closed above it. It did not close on it, but that was the actual all-time high. This is a closing all-time high. So once again, there we are as far as that goes. Nothing but blue sky. And what I'll maintain for my trading, and you can interpret it into whatever you want. When we get up here in what I call the nosebleed seats, it's a grind. A lot of people are ready to pull the trigger to sell. A lot of people are ready to pull the trigger and buy. Nobody wants to be long here, and nobody wants to be short here either. So you're going to find a lot of choppiness. Things are making new all-time highs and pulling back, and making a new all-time high and pulling back. And so manage your risk accordingly to those things. Qs, I have no idea what the Qs did today. I wouldn't be surprised by anything I saw from them, but another all-time high for the Qs again. Looking mightily strong. So one of the things that I'll note for it being strong is this green line is a 50 SMA. This blue line is a 20 SMA, and that 20 is crossing the 50 on a daily, indicating some strength here. Now, does that mean we just move right up? No. We could flounder around here for a couple of days. We chop sideways before we decide to make a move up. We could obviously go down, but there's no bear case to be made here whatsoever, other than markets can't go up every single day. So, but we've taken this out. We've taken that level out now. We're comfortably above it. Would it be reasonable to say we're going to come back and test this? I think so. I think it's very reasonable. Every fund manager in the world is looking at that. Everybody with a real big account that can move markets is looking at that line now. So I think that's the line in the sand to look at. Let's zoom back out, and maybe I got a line somewhere else drawn here. So I don't think we'll ever see 298 again here. This level, I think that's over, barring the world literally ending again. Is that possible? Of course. Am I betting on that? Nope. So we can snuggle that line right up there. I think this becomes the range line, and these will be your ranges to look at now. This is your range to look at now, moving forward. All right, and how you're going to manage and trade things that are in the tech-heavy Nasdaq. Again, if you guys have questions, please fire them at me here. It's open forum really for the software. I'm no CMT. I'm no chartered market technician. I'm no expert. I just, I look at this, and this is what I'm sharing, what I'm seeing from my seat and my screen as far as the overall markets go. But I'll keep marching on here, and we'll jump into the diamonds, which represent your Dow 30. And same kind of thing here. These levels that were more, resistance and support back here, I think that's over. I think we're well past those. I don't see any reason that we're going to fall to those. Then again, that's why they're called black swan events. But looking higher low, we tried to test that higher low right here. We couldn't break it. Higher low. Continue to make those. So again, it's not unreasonable to see, especially with so many up days on these indexes, to see some pullbacks into some moving averages, into some what were resistance now becoming supports, testing around those waters. And that's where we are for all of that. So, all right, we're still without any new questions in here. And all right, sorry, just double checking to make sure I didn't miss anything here. If I missed something, I'm scrolling back through to make sure I didn't miss anybody's questions. If I missed anybody's questions, please fire them away again. And I see people coming in and coming out as viewers. So if you're someone that's new, it's a live Q&A for Trade Ideas software. When people aren't asking questions, I'll do a market recap, a Holly, which is our AI recap. Maybe recap something that I traded or things that I'm looking at. But fire away. I'll look at charts. Never going to give you what I think is a buy or a sell on a chart. But we can look at what support lines are, some moving averages, how they might be affecting all those things like that. I like to talk about disconnects. So a disconnect that I watched today big time is I almost jumped in on this. I had a limit order, and then I didn't get filled, and I pulled it. And luckily I did not get filled. I had a limit order in at 21.75. Somewhere in this range here. It made this move, and I was cursing the market makers for not filling me on that. And then this happened. All right. Now, this is Nat Gas. This is a stock that's an all-time high for that stock right there. I've been trading in and out of it all through here. I've had some winners, some losers on it. And I really wanted to fill on it. And you asked me, why did I want to fill on it? I'll show you why I wanted to fill on it. Nat Gas right at the top of this again. And not only did it gap up big, it had a big change. It had a nice change from open and closing 1.8% up from its open, actually. All right. So its open is here. We're up from that open, and we had this big gap up. So why wouldn't I want to participate in Nat Gas? Well, apparently the reason is because Nat Gas and its stocks seem to be disconnected on days where Nat Gas itself seems to be up. Nat Gas stocks seem to be down. Case in point, MYG. Case in point, SM. All right. So these are Nat Gas stocks that I'm watching, and they cannot seem to move with the index itself. Sorry, just some screenshots are being sent to me here. Just looking over some of that stuff that we were going over for you. If you're still in there, Cody, I'm still trying to kind of look at a few different things on other screens here and get you an answer. But I think it's going to be one of those ones where I have to dive in after hours. All right, so Does TI strength alerts and cup and handle scan overlap a lot? When I go through strength alerts, I see cup and handle set up. I would say there's something in the TI strength alerts, the filtering, how Michael created that to that it has a lot of things that come through the TI strength alerts come through my evening scan that I use to find cup and handle patterns. So there's position and range filters in there that must be similar in some way. What they are, I don't know. You know, Michael doesn't open that door to us. That's his magic stuff that's in there. How he did the math on that. There's also things in there that we just period I don't have access to as far as filters and data points go. It's not just you don't have access to them. Nobody does. They're on a different server that we can't push out the same as the data that we can push out on other servers. So just that's all I can really speak of on that. But absolutely, I mean, I'm really digging the strength alerts. I really am. Perhaps one day when I'm not as busy in support, I'll pay a little more attention to some of the stuff that's coming through them. But here's one came through the other day, and it made a couple days move. Now today it gives it back, all right, but this is after it had been up a few days already after being on it. So this is something I've been watching for a long time myself. I really like this chart overall. I like this here. I like this gap, how we've held it. We tried to test all that in there. I mean, does it crash down and fill that gap tomorrow? Maybe. I don't know. You know, like I said, I don't predict things, but I like this chart overall. It's one of those stocks I've been watching. I've probably been watching this stock since last spring, and I've never actually traded it. Every time I'm ready to get into it, it makes a move against when I'm ready to get into. So I've just not been, I've been an opposite step of the stock, but it doesn't mean I'm not watching it. Anyways, that's that. Was something that I did trade. I traded this. I'm kicking myself for getting out when I did. So I traded this. I found this. I think I had like a 610 alert or something like that back here one of these days, and I traded it, and I kind of held it through some of these down days, and then it made a couple of nice up days, and I decided I'll close the trade here on this up day, and then this down day I got out of the rest of it, and then it went on to do this. So that was something from the strength alerts. It doesn't have a lot of volume to it. I mean, you can see on my screen here, its relative volume is 0.25. 690,000 shares traded, but that's enough share. I'm more concerned about shares traded than a relative volume. And so, anyways, had that great pattern that was like that I really, really liked. A stock that I am looking at that's similar to that. See if I can find it that come through the strength alerts. I haven't pulled the trigger on it, but this one here, PLYA, it's still on the strength alerts. All right, same looking pattern that's right there. And if I saw this one on the strength alerts on one of these days here, I don't know if it's this green day or this red day. All right, that's what I like that right there. Those are what I'm looking for, those horseshoe ups. We can take it and look at it like this. Let's zoom out. All right. Cup, handle. All right. Does that mean it's going up to here? I don't know, but I sure like that pattern. I haven't pulled the trigger on it because this earnings is coming, and I like that on a daily pattern, and I'm just not going to play it through earnings. So something may happen in earnings and I may miss it, but I just wasn't willing to play it this close to earnings as a daily play, as a swing play. But I like that chart. The only thing that kept me out is this earnings tomorrow post market. I just don't want to play it through that. That's all. I'm so close to it. But it is what it is. So that's a gem that I found through there. Well, perfect circle. I'd suggest you, like I would suggest anybody else, utilize it according to your trading plan, your specific, your written plan, your plan that says these are the things that get me in a stock. This is how I share size. This is how I risk size. This is how I set my risk parameters. Play it to all that. I can show you a failed breakout here. Look at this. That's a double top. That looked like it was ready to go. It was a failed breakout. Here it makes a lower low. All right. Now we're coming back the other way on a trend reversal. So, it becomes to your time frame, the data points that you're watching, the time frame that you're watching in, all those things like that. In hindsight, let's do this. Let's zoom back and let's go back in time and let's exclude recent data. In hindsight, I'd have probably looked at this chart had I seen it earlier, and I'd have seen this nice little move down here. and I've seen this base, and I like to say the bigger the base, the bigger the boom. And I might have been hedging towards this right here, towards a big move like that. Now, eventually, on a percentage basis, you get a nice little move up here as we're sitting 876 close. But if we fast forward, we could see I would have been wrong. And I can objectively say I probably would have seen it like this back here on these days. That's what I would have saw. And I say all the time, I see that pattern because I want to, because I like it. I was wrong on a short-term play. On a longer term, on a much longer, over months and months, it ends up working out. But there's no way to predict that. There's no way to know that. It was a failed pattern. And, not all patterns are going to work. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on how to use any alert window. People ask, "Oh, is trade ideas good for swing trading?" Well, sure, but what's your criteria for swing trading? I don't know. Well, I guess then trade ideas isn't going to work for you, and neither is Bloomberg, and neither is FinViz, and neither is anybody else, because it's ideas we're generating, not guarantees. And it's the same with anybody else. Anybody that has a guarantee for you, you can refer yourself to the movie Tommy Boy and what they talk about guarantees. So that's the short and skinny for those kinds of things. You got to pick a time frame. You got to stick to it. You adjust your plan accordingly as the price action moves along with it. But no written trading plan equals no success. And that's how that works. So let's see, we're at just about quarter past the hour right now. I usually run to about 4:30 on these, so I see people coming in and coming out. Again, if you're wondering what's going on here, Trade Ideas Q&A. Fire away some questions for me, folks. I like to demonstrate things for the software. I don't come with a preconceived plan here. I like it when you guys fire the questions for me. It's specifically about the software. Didn't touch on Holly today. We can, I suppose. What's the best way to close an open trade via Brokerage Plus at the moment? Add stop order and then drag to the current price. Again, kind of a subjective question. I'll say that, me personally, I do all my trading through Brokerage Plus. It's the only reason I have IB. And I'm almost considering moving to E-Trade, to be honest. I don't short much, so IB has a better shortable list than E-Trade in general. I don't short much. The commissions don't really factor into anything I do. Paying the I don't even pay for data from IB because I have enough commissions a month that doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, matter, or form, but I don't like IB. That's all I'll say. They don't bring anything to the table for me. What I really want is Thinkorswim. Believe me, if anybody that's out there that wants us to connect to Thinkorswim, you have me on the inside here advocating for it. So if it was just a switch to flip, it'd have been flipped a long time ago. But anyways, back to your question as far as closing. I mean, I put limit orders in. We had this here. I come in and I throw in. If I wanted out at, let's say, 11:01, there it is, and I'd select my share size and click sell, and then that's what I would do. Sorry, a message just came in. That was. Sorry. I have to respond to this here. Anyways, that's what I do. You could always hit the limit out button. If you hit limit out, it's going to give you, I can't do it because the market's closed right now, but if you hit limit out, it's going to give you a window here and you can put the limit order there and submit it that way. You could use target. If you had a position, I don't have a position to show you, but if you had a position here, you can right click and it'll give you an option for target, and you can set a target price, and then it'll go on the chart and you could drag your target around like that. These are all different ways that you could do that as far as it goes for closing out the position. But I do it through these buttons here. That's what I use. I never really used the limit out. I mean, I've used it to play with it, so I understand how it works. I'm a big fan of when I'm limiting out using this here. I like to sell partial lots. So, let's say, for example, just pretend hypothetically I'd gotten in at at 1050 here on SLCA, and I saw we were approaching up to 11. I might throw in, let's say at 200 shares, I might throw in an order to sell like 60 shares at like 1059, knowing that 11 might be hard to get through. So I just want to lock in some profit there. That's just how I personally manage my stuff. I have uh, my biggest trading sin early on that I found from journaling was I didn't know how to manage trades when I was up in the trade. And I still struggle with it sometimes, even though I have a written plan. I have trouble following it sometimes. I'm a human being, contrary to popular belief. And so what I do is you have two devils that are on your shoulders. You got greed and fear, and greed says, "Oh, this thing's gonna explode. Look at, if I look at this chart right now, I see room right up to here right now. Oh, it's gonna explode, and it's gonna give me that big trade, and I can't wait, and I'm getting all this money." And that's greed. And fear says, "Oh, but what if I fall back down here to the entrance and I let a green trade go back, to even, or even worse, I let a green trade fall below. Now it's a red trade, and so on and so forth." So by selling a few shares on the way up, I satisfy those demons, both sides. I didn't used to do it as much as I do it now. I'll say the only way that that's hurt me is it's hurt me in swinging trades where I start to all of a sudden where, well, I've only got a few shares left. And even, unless it moves a whole dollar from here, it's not worth holding on to those shares. I end up closing out trades like that. But, that's, my own issues to deal with. And maybe you can relate to that some way. Maybe that blip of a story helps you in some way. Why do I prefer Thinkorswim over IB? I prefer Thinkorswim over IB because I like to submit market orders if I can, and Thinkorswim always filled me better than IB. And whether it was buying or selling, every single time, if all of a sudden I'm in a position and I like hit flatten because it's all of a sudden moving against me really fast, and I don't like the way it's moving against me, and I'm not going to try to limit out of the order and risk not getting filled and have it fall more on me. Anytime there's a 5 cent spread or more, and I flatten with IB, you can be guaranteed I'm getting hit at the bid every single time. I'm getting filled at the bid. And while I don't expect to be filled at the ask, at least Thinkorswim, I would say 4 out of 5 times gave me a middle fill where I don't get that ever with IB. IB's fills are just never good for me. And, Barry uses them for a long time. He loves them. He's never had an issue with them. So it's like, he has a different experience with them. And, the thing that I do like about IB always, and that I'll give them a quote unquote kudos for, is anytime there's any major market issues going on, lots of volatility and things are going nuts in the market, whether you want to call it coronavirus or the GME thing or anything that's going on. Thinkorswim has issues with their platform. The data comes slow, things aren't working right, and whatever else. IB never has those issues. There's never an issue with the Trader Workstation. There's never an issue with IB. You never have a login problem. You never have update problems with IB. And it is what it is. So, you're guaranteed on that one side that you're getting that kind of stuff from IB. I just personally don't care for their fills on IB. That's all there is to it. I can't try the midfills because then I got to trade through Trader Workstation. I don't want to trade through the Trader Workstation. It's the whole reason why I use Brokerage Plus, because it's going to submit it according to what Brokerage Plus is sending, a limit or whatever. You can try the mid stuff, and I played with it with IB, and it didn't do anything to help me. And like I said, I like to trade through Brokerage Plus. I don't feel like dealing with the clunkiness of Trader Workstation. If your button isn't working on Brokerage Plus, have you selected the account here? You got to select this here. See, before it was saying nothing. Watch. See, it says simulated trading default. All right, now I'm going to disconnect. Now it says not connected there. And even when I connect here, I'm connected to this here, but I'm not connected to anything here. Still says select account. So if I hit, for example, watch here. I don't know if it's going to give me what I want now. Messages. Attempted. Broker not connected. No, it's not going to give me what I want here now. If we were in regular market time and I hit buy right now on Brokerage Plus, it would tell me broker's not connected. Let's see if I can get it at a limit price. No, I won't even give it to me on a limit price. Or a message here. Not doing it because we're outside the regular hours right now. But that if that's why you're not getting executed, it's this here. You got to select the account there, and if it's in one of your strategies, you got to come to the strategy. You right click, come to edit trading strategy, and you see here accounts none. So it's not directed. So if I was using this 100 shares at last, and I use that and I press buy off of that, nothing's going to happen because I don't have it. So you got to select the account here: account, none, account, simulated trading, and then it's connected to an account. If you were with IB will be connected there. Um, E-Trade will be connected there. And that's how that'll work for that. All right. If you have examples of that not working for you, send an email here. Info at trade-ideas.com. Say, hey, I was in the Q&A. When I clicked the buy and sell, they're not working for me on Brokerage Plus. And then you're going to send, and at that time, you're going to say, I sent my files to support. And to send your files to support, you're going to go help, send files to support. And you're going to say, my files are sent. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at your files and I'm going to tell you why that didn't execute. It'll be a message in there that'll tell me why. And the messages never, ever lie. I have looked at thousands and thousands of people's files, and not once have the files been wrong. So it tells us all your sins. So, all right, got about 5 minutes left here before shutting down. Again, anybody that's in here, if you got questions about the platform, anything, fire them away for me here, please. Where did I get this EV from? EVC. Where did we click that from? That's an interesting looking chart. What I'm looking at this chart is these higher highs all through here, higher lows all through here. Now I wouldn't go chasing it right here, and especially we got earnings, but see what earnings does, and I'll pull back into this here and what that might mean. Yeah, I went over what I would, growth stocks. You're looking at more of a fundamental analysis. So you're going to want to look at the fundamental filters that we have: earnings, debt to growth ratio, things like that. Is the company growing? We don't have anything that says just growth. Your short growth, quarterly revenue growth. So this is what I would point you at and start plugging some things in here. My strategy is swing growth stocks where 10-day moving average breaks above the 20 EMA. We don't have EMAs as a data point for scanning. So, we run into that situation right there. But what I would point you to is, let's do a top list instead. So if we were to go new and a top list, and we bring over the top list. All right, window specific filter. Let's clean this up because it's going to come with pre-filled stuff based on things that I've been using or that are popular. Let's get rid of that so we're starting fresh. All right, let's come to search. So first, let's go with SMAs, all right? Because that's what we have, not SAMs. SAMs. All right, and so we can pick from this list here what we want to look at. So you set a 20. So let's put a 20. We're going to add that filter, all right? And you want to see, let's just put a 0 value in there for now, just to hold its place, all right? So you want to see stocks that are, in the show me function, show me stocks where the price is above the 20 SMA. Also show me stocks where the price is at the 20 SMA. All right, so that's what we're working with. That's where we're going to start. All right, let's come back to search. We're still in SMAs. And so, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what, maybe a 20 SMA and a 10 SMA let's go with for now. All right, so let's add that filter. Let's placehold it with another 0 value here, just to placehold the value right now. All right, and you're talking about growth, and so what are you defining as growth? This is do you want to look at this? Do you want to look at market cap? We can look at market cap. let's add that filter, and let's say I don't want to see anything less than 10 billion. So 10. I mean, we're starting to get out of line with some of this market cap stuff. How many companies we went from no companies over a trillion to now 3 or 4 or something. I don't even know anymore. So 10 billion. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So all right, we're looking at market caps a minimum of 10 billion. All right, search. Let's look at you got enterprise value market cap ratio. That's something you could get into there. Earnings quarterly growth. We could add that filter in there. All right, let's see something. That doesn't work. Let's go 0.25. So we're up 0.25% from last year. All right. So now we've got we start to format this here. All right. We put some values in. Now let's play with the SMA values. So let's see. We want to see it's above the 20 and above the 10. So maybe let's start with the 2 here. So now you're showing me it's at least 2% above the 20 SMA. All right. And let's put a 0.5 here. And so we're at least, this is going to give me a histogram, but it's at least 0.5% above that. All right. You're looking at growth. Let's cut some noise out here. Let's get, at least a $5 minimum on stocks. And let's see, because you're looking at growth. I don't think volume matters quite as much, but let's just play with some volume stuff for fun. Let's go an average 3 months. That's how far back we can go. Let's add that filter in. We want to see something. Let's say we're going to see at least 250,000 shares traded over 3 months on an average. All right. So there we've got it here. All right. Let's come to the summary. This gives us a snapshot of everything we're looking at. Sorry, I just have to log out of something for troubleshooting support, so I'm not getting hit with messages for the rest of the night. Excuse me one moment. There we go. All right. And we're going to call this growth above SMAs. All right. And so just to recap what we're looking at here. So we're looking at stocks that got to be at least $5, traded an average of 250,000 shares a day for the last 3 months. Got to be 2% above the 20 SMA. Got to be at least 10 billion in market cap. They got to be up 0.25% from last year's quarterly earnings at this point in time. And they're at least 0.5% above their 10-day SMA. Now we can click OK on this, and maybe it's going to return us nothing, and we got to go back and start to play with these values. Maybe we're going to get a bunch of names, but let's take a look. So we've named it. There's our window name. We're going to press OK. And here we go. That's what it's returned me. Car. This is hysterical. Sorry, I just cannot help but laugh. But okay, whatever. There's a chart to look at. Here's a chart to look at. Under Armour. All right. So we're returning ourselves some ideas here. All right. And these are all the stocks that meet this criteria. There's one last piece of the puzzle I did not remember to go over. If we come back into the configure again, sort. Right now, this is sorting by server on volume percent today. All right. Meaning that looking back over the last 10 days, what its percent of volume is compared over the last 10 days. You can pick whatever you want for that server to sort on or to bring it in from the server. What this means is this scan can only populate X amount of stocks into this window, and it will pull based on that server sort before it pulls anything else. That number of stocks it can populate is a set record count. Okay, so if we were to right click and come to set record count, right now the top 100 stocks that meet this criteria, what will populate here according to that. We can change that server sort to any data point within Trade Ideas system that we want. Okay, and then we can color code it. So there's server sort, there's the display sort. So it's also display sorting based on this here, and then there's the color sort. The color sort is in properties. And we come to somewhere in here, select colors. It's actually sorting based on change from close percent right now. So we could switch that to volume. So where's volume today? Percent right there. And we can make the whole thing look nice. Okay, okay. And now we can see how it's a nice gradient based on that. we're looking for growth. So we might want to say, all right, let's server sort it by growth. All right. So we're going to come to sort, and we're going to look here at, we were looking at quarterly earnings growth. So let's sort on that. We selected that here. Okay. Okay. And now we're going to find to see, do we have that as a column? Nope, we don't have that as a column. We're going to come back to configure. Growth, quarterly growth. We're going to show that column. Okay, now we've got that column coming in right now. There you are. There's that column. All right. So now we're server sorting on this. We're display sorting on this. And now we can color sort on it too. Come to properties, colors. And now we've selected that as the coloring scheme as well. So now we've got this scan. We're sorting based on quarterly growth percent, okay, from the server, from the display, and from the coloring. All right. So this is what I got. We just created it together, walked you through the whole thing, right click, save and share to cloud. I'm going to give you this. And anybody else that wants it. And there you have it, sports fans. We just created a growth, some type of growth window, and what you want to do with it from there, you want to use it just as is to return your ideas, great. If not, that's great too. So I don't know, Robert, are you a Trade Ideas subscriber, or am I trying to sell you on the product right now? And then let's see, Robin, my computer 16 is performing very slow. Text, new user, bin, all lessons, da 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 da. A few things that you got to look at here, Robin. You know, how many windows are you running? How many top lists are you running? What are the record counts on those top lists? What other software are you running? We know that there's some slowdown issues that happen with our charts on the new build, the 5.5 builds that have the container windows. How many container windows do you have? How this got caused when we implemented all those new things, we don't know. So we have to go back through and create a code, define the code issue. It's being worked on. It's the number one thing they're working on development right now. Our charts, regardless, have an 8-second refresh. We are also top priority working on getting those charts faster. I won't say it's necessarily tick by tick data, but it's right up there with tick by tick data. But you can see, sometimes when I'm clicking charts, it takes a second to load. Sometimes they're loading kind of quick. And I'm running a lot of software right now. I've got streaming software. I've got Trade Ideas. I got Trader Workstation. I have other troubleshooting software. So you're going to have to ask yourself, where is that bottleneck coming from on your end? Or is it just something that's has to do with our charts being a little on the slow end? The alerts, they're going to come in real time. There'll be no delay on any of this timestamp stuff that's coming in. There'll be no delay on this 30-second refresh rate here. Where you'll get the delay is this here. The other thing you could do is externally link to your broker's charts too, if you wanted to, and not use our charts. So that would, those are where I got to kind of throw you to, Robin. So it's, you're slow, but how much stuff are you running right now? And, we kind of got to go back and forth with that. It's also why I tell people run multiple layouts. Not at the same time, but if you got, so for example, when I first started using Trade Ideas, I had, 7 or 8 windows that I used during market time. I had 5 or 6 windows that I was using during pre-market time, and I had 2 or 3 windows I was using in the post-market. And I ran all those windows all day long. It didn't make any sense to have pre-market data during regular market, or post-market data during regular market, or pre-market data during post-market. And so I created separate layouts, one for pre, one for post, and one for during market. And so by cutting those things down, they've also helped me in that sense. So that might help you as well there, Robin. I don't know. So hopefully some of those things that are helping you is throwing those ideas out at you. The other thing too is if you start running a bunch of T lists and you have them all set to 1,000 is the limit. So if we right click, set record count, you can run this up to 1,000. Even if only 50 stocks are going to populate it and you have 5 of these windows that are set to 1,000, the window's looking for 1,000 stocks every 30 seconds to populate it, regardless that there isn't 1,000 stocks. So that's a lot of heavy lifting data that's got to go back and forth, and that just, logistics of bottleneck of data right there. There's, not anything that can be changed on that. New subscriber. All right, good deal. Good to know Barry sold you on it. I like that. And that's, the power of this and why I do these late day Q and A's. I do them every day, 3:30 Eastern. Um, trying to get every subscriber as much as we can. I know not everybody can make the noon Eastern ones that we do every day. Not everybody wants to hang out in the traders room every day. Everybody learns in different ways at different paces. So I made myself available for at least an hour every single day, to do this for you all. Help you guys walk you through scans. Am I going to create a scan and back test and optimize it for you? No, nobody's going to do that for you. But am I going to get you a template on something that you can work with based on what you're looking for? Absolutely. I'm going to do that for you. Yeah, you're very welcome. I'm happy to do this. I knew nothing about trading several years ago. Not one thing. I discovered the Trade Ideas community, uh, went into Barry's room for a few months before I subscribed. After, it was April of that year that I discovered it, that I joined the trading room and the webinars. And, I found Steve on Twitter and Jamie on Twitter, and, started hitting them with questions and ideas. And, I let all the other nonsense and noise fold away, anything like that. I just asked them questions, and gracious enough to hit me back, with some answers on things there. And, fast forward several years and I work for the company now, but, I was someone I knew absolutely nothing about trading. And here we are today. And I can talk to you about pivot lines. And am I making $1 million a day? No, but I'm earning a living through trading and through the company. So, that's the short and skinny of that. So, I'm going to kind of give it a going once, going twice theme here. On the way out the door, we're at 4:40. So if you guys have any other last minute questions here, last minute chart you want to throw out, a last minute question about the software itself, fire them away. If not, I'm going to wrap it up for the day here. And like I said, I'll be right back here at 3:30 tomorrow. All right. So the silence is deafening, as I say. All right, guys. I thank you all very much, popping in the questions. Robert, things like that are, what I'm here for. I like that kind of interaction. Like I said, we don't have the 20 EMA, but we've got a lot of SMAs that we can work with, and we can get you something. We can find you something in the ballpark of what you want 99% of the time. So again, anybody that's here, please check back tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern. Barry opens this at 9 o'clock every day. It's more of a trader's room theme when Barry's running it, but he's going to answer your questions for you the best that he can. Nobody really knows the software better than Barry. Also, I defy you to find a better day trader than Barry. You're really not going to. Steve, Andy, Jamie, Sean, Michael, they head up the noon Eastern Q&As every day. They rotate in and out. Each one of them brings something different to the table that's really good every single day. I had these up myself at 3:30 every day. So there's a lot here for you guys and gals. And, any type of trading that's out there, we're going to cover it for you. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening. Bye-bye.